every day, all day. And it's a pain nobody should have to feel. Nobody.
What if the last thing you ever did was jump into a boiling hot spring to save your dog? Or imagine being stuck in an elevator for an entire month with no one hearing your cries for help.
The victim in this case was a 43-year-old woman, and local authorities say she could have been trapped inside this elevator for a month.
One moment you're filming a video on the tracks, the next, you're fatally struck by an oncoming train.
A vibrant fitness expert known for living life to the fullest, killed by an oncoming train while filming.
These aren't just tragic endings, they're the kind of deaths that make you pause, blink twice, and say, wait, what?
We have fire at Darling Street upstairs.
Did you say you don't smoke or
Yes,
anything?
it's upstairs. Hurry up, please.
Welcome back to part 5 of Bizarre Ways People Have Died. Would you dive into boiling water to save someone you love? On July 20th, 1981, Yellowstone National Park was a cauldron of heat and danger. David Allen Kerwin, just 24, arrived with his friend Ronald Ratliff and Ratliff's dog, Moosey. The landscape shimmered with beauty and hidden peril.
What you have directly behind us is boiling hot water. It looks beautiful, it looks inviting.
In an instant, the day turned into a nightmare. Moosey leapt from the truck and in a heartbeat plunged into the Celestine Pool, a steaming sapphire spring that masked a 200-degree inferno. The dog's agonized cries shattered the stillness. Onlookers screamed warnings, but David's instincts drowned them out. "Don't go in there," someone yelled. David's reply was pure defiance. "Like hell I won't." Without hesitation, he dove headfirst into the boiling water. The searing heat hit him like a wall. David's skin peeled away with his shoes. His eyes, once full of life, were blinded by the heat. Through the agony, he managed to whisper, "That was stupid. How bad am I?" The answer was written all over him. Third-degree burns covered his entire body. David died the next morning. Moosey was already gone. Park rangers called it one of the most harrowing tragedies in Yellowstone's history. What if one spark could change everything? It was a night meant for dreams, not tragedy. June 22, 2014, Southington, Connecticut. 19-year-old Kristen Milano was asleep in her second-floor bedroom, safe in the home she shared with her family. She had no idea that outside fate was about to take a cruel turn. Down below, 18-year-old Eric Morelli, fresh from a night of partying, arrived at the Summer Brook Apartments. Instead of simply knocking on the door to wake Kristen's brother, Jason, Eric made a reckless choice. He pulled out fireworks, lighting them, hurling them at the apartment window as a twisted prank. The first two fizzled harmlessly, but the third, a single fateful firecracker, soared through Kristen's open window. In an instant, the room erupted. Flames licked the walls, thick smoke billowed, and the air turned deadly. Kristen, still asleep, was trapped in the inferno. Her family and neighbors rushed to help, but the fire was relentless. Firefighters battled the blaze, but by the time they reached her, Kristen was unconscious. She never woke up.
I carry this pain every day, all day. And it's a pain nobody should have to feel. Nobody.
19 years old, her future stolen in seconds by a thoughtless act. Eric Morelli was arrested, charged with manslaughter, and ultimately sentenced to up to 10 years in prison.
I am sorry for what happened and the pain I have caused to the Milano family.
In court, Kristen's family spoke through tears, their grief echoing in every corner of the room. A single moment of carelessness had shattered their world. A firework, a symbol of celebration, became an instrument of tragedy. One spark, one reckless decision, and a bright life was lost forever. Sometimes, it takes only a second for everything to go up in smoke.
The victim in this case was a 43-year-old woman, and local authorities say she could have been trapped inside this elevator for a month before she was finally discovered.
In the heart of Xi'an, China, in early 2016, a tragedy unfolded behind the closed doors of an ordinary apartment building. Ms. Wu, a 43-year-old woman living alone, vanished, her absence unnoticed by neighbors, her silence stretching on for weeks. It began in late January, just before the Chinese New Year. The building's elevator broke down. 2 technicians arrived, opened the doors, and simply shouted to check if anyone was inside. Hearing nothing, they shut off the power and left, assuming the lift was empty. A note went up, out of order. The elevator sat idle, dark, and silent. But Ms. Wu was inside, trapped between the 10th and 11th floors with no phone, no alarm, and no way to call for help. Days passed, then weeks. The city celebrated the new year. Life in the building continued, but no one noticed Ms. Wu's absence. Her family, believing she had wandered off, reported her missing but did not search the building. When the maintenance crew finally returned a month later, they opened the elevator and recoiled in horror. Ms. Wu's body lay inside. Investigators found her hands mangled from desperate attempts to pry open the doors, a silent struggle for survival that went unseen. She had died of starvation, just steps away from her own home. The discovery ignited outrage across China. How could someone disappear in a crowded building, unnoticed for so long? It wasn't just a mechanical failure. It was a collapse of responsibility, of community, of basic human connection. In a building full of people, Ms. Wu died utterly alone. Her final days marked by isolation and neglect, a haunting reminder of the dangers of indifference.
A vibrant fitness expert known for living life to the fullest, killed by an oncoming train while filming.
What if chasing the perfect shot becomes your final frame? Greg Plit wasn't just a fitness icon, he was a force. A West Point graduate, Army Ranger model and motivational powerhouse, Greg inspired millions with his relentless drive. But on January 17, 2015, that intensity collided with tragedy on a stretch of train tracks in Burbank, California. Greg was filming a self-produced commercial for a nutritional product, guerrilla style, without a permit. The concept? Showcasing his power and speed, sprinting along the rails as a train approached. He'd filmed on tracks before, but this time the risk was real. Dressed in black and holding a camcorder, Greg ran between the rails, focused on capturing that perfect adrenaline-fueled shot, but the timing was off. Metrolink trains on that stretch moved deceptively fast and quietly. Witnesses and friends say Greg may have believed the train was on a parallel track, or that he could beat it. As the southbound train barreled toward him at around 60 miles per hour, the engineer sounded the horn and hit the brakes. In those critical seconds, Greg tripped on the tracks and couldn't recover in time. The impact was fatal. He was just 37.
The train conductor did see him. He sounded his horn and hit the brakes on the train, but he was unable to stop in time, and Mr. Plit did not seem to react to the horn.
Police ruled out suicide, calling it a tragic misjudgment during an unauthorized shoot. The incident was captured by the train's onboard camera, and authorities seized the crew's footage as evidence. Greg's death stunned fans and friends. How could someone so disciplined and fearless make a mistake so final? Greg used to say, "When you are wondering what to do, just act. Action will lead you forward." But that day, action led to a deadly miscalculation. Even the most driven among us aren't invincible. Sometimes, chasing greatness without caution costs everything. Life is fragile, but sometimes the way it ends defies every ounce of logic we have. Whether it's stepping into danger to save a beloved pet, getting trapped in a place no one should die, or underestimating the power of a split-second decision. These stories remind us that the line between life and death can be shockingly thin. Which of these bizarre deaths left you the most stunned? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more jaw-dropping stories like this, Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. There are even stranger tales out there waiting to be told. And you won't want to miss what's coming next in this series. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.